that guy is insane. That guy's knocked out two of the greatest featherweights of all time, Volkanovski and Max Holloway. Nobody could knock those guys out in featherweight before, and he did it. And he did it, and he made it look easy. And with Ilia, it's everything. It's his submissions, his kicks, his punches, everything. He can do anything. I mean, he does everything perfect. All his technique is perfect, and he's fucking driven and ultra confident.
Ele é um cara perigoso, nocauteou o Max Holloway, né? Na última luta dele, então é um cara que é perigoso, né? Tem um jiu-jitsu que todo mundo fala que é bom, ainda ele ainda não usou no UFC.
I think Ilia, man. I think he's going to be way undersized against Charles. I just don't, unless Charles can sub him, maybe if he hurts him, but it's going to be tough, I think.
With just 8 days remaining until the much-anticipated clash between Ilia and Charles, Joe Rogan has delivered a surprising analysis of UFC 317. At the same time, Charles Oliveira believes his showdown with Ilia Topuria at UFC 317 is written in fate. According to him, this occasion was always destined. When questioned whether Topuria has shown equal respect, Oliveira responded that he doesn't believe so. He feels Ilia has been doing a lot of talking, but it doesn't bother him much. He's convinced the real answers will come once they face off inside the octagon on June 28th. Regarding his preferred outcome, Oliveira isn't aiming for a particular finish like a submission or knockout. What truly matters to him is securing the win. He believes this triumph is already in motion and will further solidify his place in history. Do you think he's shown you that same level of respect ahead of this matchup?
Or do you feel like he's given you that same respect in the lead up to this fight?
No, definitely not. He didn't treat with the same respect. And I don't know, he's been saying a lot, but the fact of the matter is we're going to find out on June 28th. Everyone knows who the real champion is.
You talk a lot about legacy. You've mentioned it multiple times. What is the best way to win this fight for your legacy? Is it to knock out Ilia? Is it to submit him? Is it to dominate him for 5 rounds? What is going to be the best result for Charles Oliveira's legacy?
I just want to win. You know, that it's meant to be. It's already written.
On a recent podcast, Joe Rogan discussed the upcoming showdown between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira, calling it a remarkable moment in UFC history. He believes mixed martial arts is stepping into an unpredictable and thrilling phase. Rogan applauded Ilia Topuria for finishing 2 of the top featherweights ever, an achievement no one had previously managed in that weight class. He noted that Topuria made it appear effortless, highlighting his exceptional skill and threat level. Rogan emphasized that this is a special era for the sport, as fresh talent is entering the UFC and immediately performing like elite contenders after only 1 appearance.
Ilia Topuria, who's fighting Charles Oliveira at the end of the month, like that guy is insane. That guy's knocked out 2 of the greatest featherweights of all time, Volkanovski and Max Holloway. Nobody could knock those guys out in featherweight before, and he did it. And he did it, and he made it look easy. You know, he made it look like they're like he's just on another level from everybody. You know, and then now he's moving up to 155 pounds. He's like decided he cleared out that division. He's moving up. Like he's
insane. Yeah,
insane. There's guys like that are just so their level is above everybody else's level. And with Ilia, it's everything. It's his submissions, his kicks, his punches, everything. He can do anything. I mean, he does everything perfect. All his technique is perfect, and he's fucking driven and ultra confident. You know, this is an amazing time for the sport, man. It's a crazy time because these guys that are coming in with like 1 fight in the UFC, they look like world-class contenders, like right away.
Joe Rogan also shared his thoughts on Charles Oliveira, describing him as a beast and one of the most lethal fighters in the UFC right now. He explained that many fans tend to overlook Oliveira's threat level due to his earlier setbacks. However, the truth is that Oliveira has evolved tremendously over time. Rogan highlighted that Oliveira joined the UFC at just 20 years old and has only recently hit his stride. He believes Oliveira has finally put all the pieces together, and it's time for fans to stop dwelling on his past defeats and start appreciating the incredible progress he's made.
Oliveira's a monster. People think of Oliveira as not being a monster because there's times that people have beaten him, but he got better. You got to accept that and not think of like when he lost.
Because so many people, well, who gets better at 35?
I don't believe he's 35.
No?
I think he's 33, and I also think that he got into the UFC when he was 20. But he came into his own over the last few years, which kind of makes sense. Like he figured it out. And so part of the problem was like he was learning and developing and growing as an elite organization.
On the flip side, Charles Oliveira recognized Ilia Topuria as a serious threat with an aggressive striking approach, constantly pressing forward with sharp combinations. He noted that Topuria's knockout victory over Max Holloway in his previous bout speaks volumes about his strength and technique. Oliveira also acknowledged that while Topuria has a reputation for solid jiu-jitsu, it hasn't been fully displayed inside the UFC octagon yet. Even so, Charles isn't dwelling on what Topuria offers. His focus remains on his own preparation. He's thankful for the chance and sees this matchup as another defining moment in building his legacy.
Sabe que ele tem boxe agressivo que manda 2, 3 mãos, né, andando pra frente. Ele é um cara perigoso, nocauteou o Max Holloway, né, na última luta dele. Então, é um cara que é perigoso, né? Tem um jiu-jitsu que todo mundo fala que é bom, ele ainda não usou no UFC, mas falam que é bom o jiu-jitsu dele. Então, assim, cara, de verdade, eu tô preocupado com o que eu posso levar pra dentro do cage, o quanto que tô feliz, né, com mais essa oportunidade, né, mais algo gigante pro meu legado. Então é
Ilia Topuria believes Charles Oliveira's fighting approach is tailor-made for him to secure a first-round finish at UFC 317, while he showed respect by calling Oliveira a great and legendary competitor, one of the few still performing at a high level. Topuria didn't shy away from making his goal crystal clear. He wants to end the fight in the opening round. Topuria remarked that Charles is a fantastic fighter, even a legend, but claimed his lack of movement plays directly into his hands. According to him, Oliveira's stationary style makes him an easy target. Recently, in a training video released ahead of their title bout, Topuria showcased his explosive power and crisp boxing, confidently warning Oliveira to bring a pillow because he plans to put him to sleep. The undefeated featherweight champion made it evident that he's not just looking for a win, he's aiming for a statement finish against the former lightweight title holder. However, Charles Oliveira remains unfazed by the bold talk. With 15 years of UFC experience, he said he's heard it all before. Once viewed as a boy among beasts, he now sees himself as a lion among equals. Oliveira shared that while others run their mouths, he stays locked in on training and growth. Laughing off the trash talk, he reminded fans that he's consistently proven critics wrong, whether it's doubts about his resilience or knockout ability. He emphasized that no amount of talk will rattle his mindset or shake his confidence ahead of UFC 317. Charles Oliveira also responded to Ilia Topuria's "bring a pillow" comment, saying he's no stranger to that kind of talk. Over the years, he explained, plenty of opponents have tried to mess with his head through words. But when the final bell rang, it was his hand that was raised. For Oliveira, the trash talk holds no weight. What truly counts is the outcome inside the octagon. He made a post directed at the fans, asking one simple question: who will have their hand raised? When it's all said and done,
é muito foda que eu não gosto de ficar falando muito que tudo que a gente fala, você tá ligado, né? Mas tudo burburinho, né? Mas eu acho que já passou a fase disso, né? São 15 anos dentro do UFC, né? Eu entrei um menino lá dentro, eu era só um moleque lá dentro, igual eu tudo que eu falei pesa, né? Eu sou só um menino no meio dos leões. Hoje eu me sinto um leão no meio dos leões, um leão diferenciado, um leão embaçado. O último, o Charles desiste, eu fui lá e atropelei. O último, o Charles não tem mão, eu fui lá e nocauteei. O Charles não tem não sei o que lá, eu fui lá e fiz. Então eu acho que assim, é tão bagulho, são tantas coisas loucas que, tipo, se a ideia é essa de ficar falando, de ficar cogitando pra ver se vai me abalar, cara, tipo, eu vejo os negócios, tipo, se é que vocês estão longe, vocês não estão vendo, mas se você perguntar pros meninos que andam comigo, você vê, tipo, eu dou risada, tá ligado? Porque é coisas tão irrelativas, enquanto eles estão falando, eu tô treinando, eu tô me dedicando.
Ele fez um post pedindo pra você não esquecer de levar o travesseiro pra luta. O que ele não pode esquecer de levar?
Cara, você sabe disso, não adianta o que eles vão falar, pra mim não faz diferença, irmão. Eu acho que só Deus sabe das coisas pra acontecer, né? Dia 28 agora de junho, né, a gente vai se enfrentar. Eu acho que eu sou um problema tanto pra ele ou pra qualquer um que vai lutar. Eu sou um cara que tem o poder de fogo nas mãos, um cara que tem um jiu-jitsu absurdo. O que o Topuria tá falando, ou qualquer outro cara tá falando, pra mim não faz diferença de nada. Você já viu essa novela várias vezes, de muitos deles que falaram um monte de coisas e vocês sabem o que aconteceu no final, foi o braço que foi levantado, então Não faz diferença.
Charles Oliveira made it clear that he's not someone who constantly posts online or engages in trash talk to promote a fight. He said he understands exactly what's required. Stay focused, keep grinding, and be fully prepared for June 28th. With only a few days remaining, he's choosing to spend time with those closest to him while staying committed to his training. Oliveira acknowledged that talking more might bring in bigger paychecks, but that approach just isn't him. He doesn't know how to hype a fight with words and prefers to stay true to himself. For Charles, the real attraction isn't in the build-up, it's in what unfolds inside the cage.
Você me conhece, eu não sou aquele que tem que ficar postando, aquele que tem que ficar falando, aquele que tem que fazer... Eu sei o que eu tenho que fazer, o trampo é dia 28, então eu tenho que simplesmente se focar e tá pronto, tem 2 semanas para isso acontecer, então eu só tenho que estar feliz, perto das pessoas que eu amo e treinando e me dedicando. Ah, pô, mas se você falasse que você ganhava muito mais dinheiro, fazer o quê? Eu não sei fazer isso, eu não sei falar desse jeito, eu não sei vender a luta dessa forma, não é o meu jeito de vender, então deixa eu ganhar o dinheiro que eu tô ganhando, que é o único jeito que eu sei fazer, é dessa forma, tranquilo pra minha. Na hora que fecha o queijo lá dentro, eu sei o que tem que fazer, que é andar pra frente, botar minhas mãos, e aí, no final de tudo, o que mais importa é o seu braço sendo levantado.
On the other hand, lightweight veteran Dustin Poirier weighed in on the upcoming clash between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira, sharing his concerns that Topuria might be undersized against Charles. He believes Oliveira's reach, physicality, and elite submission game could create serious trouble for Ilia, especially if Charles lands something big early. However, Poirier also pointed out that Oliveira has a tendency to absorb a lot of punishment in his fights, and with Topuria's devastating knockout power, that could prove costly. All in all, Poirier said he's genuinely excited to see how this matchup unfolds.
With the Ilia versus Charles fight? I think Ilia, man. I think he's going to be way undersized against Charles. I just don't... Unless Charles can sub him, maybe if he hurts him, but it's going to be tough, I think. Because Charles gets hit a lot, you know, and Ilia puts people away. I'm excited about it.
Michael Bisping also weighed in on the upcoming showdown between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira. He praised Oliveira as one of the most thrilling and technically gifted fighters in the lightweight division, emphasizing that his high-paced, aggressive style is exactly what fans enjoy. However, Bisping also noted a possible vulnerability, Oliveira's habit of charging forward with minimal caution. He likened it to walking through flames without hesitation. While that fearless approach has earned Oliveira numerous finishes and performance bonuses, Bisping cautioned that it could backfire against a dangerous opponent like Ilia Topuria.
Of course, Charles "Du Bronx" Oliveira is an exciting fighter, and he is one of the best in the division and one of the most exciting. But it's the exciting style that he has that would give me cause for concern if I was coaching Charles "Du Bronx" Oliveira. The way that he walks forward like a buzzsaw with reckless abandon, the not giving a damn attitude, it's beautiful to watch. It's very, very entertaining. Nobody will be booing when Charles Oliveira fights, okay? But it's that reckless style that might get him clipped. Charles Oliveira, as we know, he's got the most bonuses, most finishes, most...
5 minutes later.
Right? The man's excitement personified, but he takes a lot of chances.
Michael Bisping analyzed the stylistic matchup between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira, pointing out Topuria's calm, disciplined approach. He highlighted Topuria's tight guard, slick footwork, sharp head movement, and low stance, all of which help him dictate the tempo of a fight. Bisping explained that this kind of technical precision could pose a serious threat to Oliveira, who tends to press forward recklessly, often with his chin up and head centered. While he applauded Oliveira's thrilling and aggressive style that fans love, Bisping cautioned that it frequently leaves him exposed, something a powerful and accurate striker like Topuria could exploit with ease.
Ilia Topuria, on the flip side, he's clean, he's composed, he's calm, he's in the moment, the hands are high, the base is low, the head is moving constantly, and he's looking at his opponent, he's tracking him down across the octagon, he's using the feet to corral him against the fence, he's looking for openings, and then he explodes. And when he explodes, we know he's got big power. He might explode the chin of Charles Oliveira, whereas Charles Oliveira, on the flip side, with the shooter box style, he's walking forward, the head's on a straight line, and he's just... the chin's a little up, he's throwing knees, he's throwing elbows, he's throwing everything but the kitchen sink, and we absolutely love it. But that's got him in trouble.
Michael Bisping also highlighted that Charles Oliveira remains one of the toughest and most dangerous athletes in the sport. He cautioned that if Ilia Topuria fails to get an early finish, Oliveira has the tools to flip the fight in an instant. With world-class finishing instincts, Oliveira can seize a neck, deliver brutal elbows and knees, or secure submissions from virtually any position. Bisping stressed stressed that even the slightest misstep could open the door for Oliveira to take control and end the contest.
But Charles Oliveira, as we know, the man ain't no bitch. He ain't no bitch. And you better hope that it does explode, because if it doesn't, he's going to grab you by the neck, he's going to drop elbows in your face, he's going to knee you up the middle. And if you make one mistake with Charles Oliveira, boom, it's over. Quick as a flash, he's throwing on a submission. Goga platters, omoplatters, triangles, reverse triangles, you name it. Heel hooks, knee bars, whatever, okay? You make one mistake with Charles Oliveira and it is all over.
And it is all over. John Anik is equally eager to see how Ilia Topuria fares against a legend like Charles Oliveira. He reminded fans not to underestimate Oliveira's experience in high stakes, dangerous situations, even with Topuria riding a wave of momentum. With Topuria stepping up in weight and competing on the grand stage of International Fight Week, Anik sees this as a defining challenge. It's a moment that will show whether Topuria is truly prepared to rise to greatness.
Can Topuria do it again and knock out another legend?
Dude, is Ilia Topuria getting the red corner? I mean, my goodness. Can we put some respect on the name Charles Oliveira? No, it's a fascinating fight. Yes, Justin Gaethje, who's the hardest man he's ever been hit by in all of his fights, and it's Charles Oliveira. And I'm just excited to see what Charles can do, because the betting line suggests that he's up against it. A lot of Charles's contemporaries are suggestive that this is a custom-made matchup for Ilia Topuria. He's taken on the most decorated finisher in UFC history and the man who reigns supreme atop this weight class. So fascinated to see it. And I think my biggest takeaway with Topuria is just the way guys like Kenny Florian talk about him in such superlative terms. And, we'll see if he can live up to the hype. I'm excited to see him in a division, not cut too much weight. And, great way to sort of usher him in, headlining International Fight Week for the soon-to-be vacant UFC lightweight title.
Meanwhile, Arman Sarukian shared his perspective on UFC 317, recognizing Charles Oliveira as a highly dangerous opponent, particularly due to his ability to secure submissions from nearly any position. However, Sarukian noted a key weakness in Oliveira's game, his lack of high-level freestyle wrestling. He suggested that taking down someone like Ilia Topuria won't come easily for Charles. While acknowledging that Oliveira is still a threat off his back, Sarukian believes Topuria's sharper boxing and strong defensive wrestling will help him keep the fight upright, giving him a significant edge in this matchup.
Да, конечно, Оливейра очень опасный, с любой позиции может душить, но просто перевести его, Оливейра не такая вольная борьба. Допустим, моя работа, да, я люблю переводить. То есть я его перевожу, и он может контратаку какую-то сделать, там, душающий взять, как он взял меня там. То есть это возни не будет. Топурия просто будет работать, боксировать, не будет пытаться его переводить, так как у него намного лучше бокс, чем у Оливейры. А у Оливейры, мне кажется, недостаточно вольной борьбы, чтобы перевести Топурия.
UFC light heavyweight Modestas Bukauskas threw his support behind Ilia Topuria to come out victorious against Charles Oliveira. While he acknowledged Oliveira's crisp striking and world-class jiu-jitsu, he described Topuria as a compact powerhouse, explosive, in tight exchanges. Despite the noticeable difference in height and reach, Bukauskas highlighted Topuria's strong grappling and dependable wrestling. Confident in his pick, he backed Topuria to secure the win, believing his power and pressure will be the deciding factors.
I've got to say, Ilia Topuria, just because although Oliveira's like jiu-jitsu is very good and he's got very crisp striking himself, I don't know, Ilia Topuria, he's like a little pocket rocket, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? When he comes in close and land those big shots, obviously he's you know, a bit of a size difference in terms of height and stuff like this, but he's also got great jiu-jitsu as well and good wrestling. So yeah, in my opinion, I think Topuria would take that.
Michael Chandler also offered his take on the upcoming clash between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira, revealing that he intends to be cage side to witness it firsthand. He recognized Oliveira as a gritty, well-rounded veteran who's always a threat and never easy to count out. At the same time, Chandler highlighted Topuria's explosive power and precise striking, calling the bout both thrilling and unpredictable. With high impact potential from both fighters, he believes this matchup is set to deliver fireworks inside the octagon.
So I'll be cage side for that fight to watch it, and we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, who do you think is going to win?
Man, it's tough. You don't bet against freaking Charles Oliveira because
Right.
he's so dang good everywhere, and he's a really hard guy to beat. With that being said, Ilia Topuria's got some crazy power in his hands and crazy accurate strikes. So it'll be very interesting to see how that fight goes.
UFC middleweight contender Jack Hermanson also voiced his enthusiasm for the Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira showdown. While he expressed deep respect for Oliveira and even called himself a fan, he acknowledged that Topuria appears nearly unbeatable at the moment. Given Topuria's current dominance and strong momentum, Hermanson admitted he would give the slight advantage to Ilia heading into the fight.
Can't wait for that one. I'm a super big fan of Charles, but Ilia has kind of he's just looks unbeatable at the moment. So I think I will give it to him.
With just over a week remaining until UFC 317, the anticipation for Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira keeps building. Topuria's confidence and knockout power are set to clash with Oliveira's experience and elite finishing skills in what's shaping up to be a thrilling encounter. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with the latest news and reactions as we count down to this epic battle on June 28th.